Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Maximilian College Basketball Conference Tournament previews. And for today, we will be going over picks and analysis for the Atlantic Sun Conference Tournament. And before we jump in, go ahead, like, subscribe, and check out all the other conference tourney previews up on my channel. As you know, a lot of them are getting ready to start this week, one of the best times of the year. So go ahead and check those out. But in today's video here, we're going to be breaking down the ASUN tournament. Break down the structure, the odds board, and my pick or maybe picks to win the conference. And the bracket breakdown is pretty straightforward, as you can see there on your screen. Nothing special here, as all the teams, they make it, they qualify, and for theoretically a chance to head to the big dance. And shout out the guy who actually made this graphic. This was one of the better tournament layouts I saw. So what is a little confusing here that we need to talk about is the location of these games. From my understanding, the first round kicks off on Wednesday here at North Florida's arena. But North Florida is actually one of the teams that plays in the first round, and I'm assuming they don't want them to have a home court advantage here. So I believe they're the only first round game that will still be in Jacksonville, but it'll be at a neutral venue. Like I said, I just assume they don't want to give them a home court advantage for North Florida. And then after that, those quarterfinal games are going to be all on neutral in Jacksonville from that point forward. So a little confusing there, but that's actually why we get some nice little noon games there, Wednesday and then Friday. And if you're a fan of afternoon hoops, that's one of the perks of college basketball tournament season. Is for these conference tournaments, we usually get weird afternoon games. So if you're like me and you love some afternoon action, then you're in for a treat. So can't wait to start it off this week. But anyways, let's go ahead, jump into the odds board here. And Austin Peay, the 2 seed, is actually the favorite to win this one. And I agree with that assessment. I think they are the best team in this league, but man, did they choke away that 1 seed. They lost back-to-back games down the stretch at Central Arkansas and Bellarmine, and they just had to win one of those games, and they would have clinched an outright conference championship regular season and the 1 seed. So, but anyways, I think the strategy for this ASUN tournament here is let's take a look at the top 4 teams, because it's pretty packed here at the top with Lipscomb plus 475, Queens plus 400, Central Arkansas plus 250, and Austin Peay plus 205. Let's start with those 4 and, either make a case for them or make a case against, and then just see what we see. So Central Arkansas, 1 seed here. I really love this guard combo of Cameron Hunter and Ty Robinson. And, they're not just 2 of the best guards for this team, but they're 2 of the best guards in the ASUN. The problem I have with this team, though, is their home road splits are pretty drastic. Central Arkansas, they're awesome at home. They didn't lose a single conference game at home, and they shot 38% from deep and 49% from the floor. The problem is when they went on the road, like they will have to do in this tournament, they dropped all the way down to 33% from deep and 42% from the floor. And, that's crucial as well, because the Central Arkansas team, they rely on that shot making, because they're 19th in the nation in 3-point frequency. So they're going to shoot a lot of threes, and, they're probably going to see, a potential chance for a drop in their efficiency because they're not playing these games at home. Next up is the 2 seed Austin Peay, and they're no different from a home road standpoint. They shoot lights out at home, 41% from deep, but like Central Arkansas, when they go away from home, that drops down to 32%. So I do think both of our top seeds are on potential upset alert if they do have a off shooting night here. And it's not just them, but it's all the top 4 seeds. Queens, 39% from deep, just 32% on the road. Lipscomb, same way, 39% at home from deep, drops to 33% on the road. So I do think we have a chance here to get some carnage in this conference tournament. As this conference has been built on the strength of home court advantage, but that all goes out the window when we take all these teams and just drop them in Jacksonville and say, go play, on this neutral site venue where, anything can happen. So I think we got to look to some potential long shots here. And 2 of the teams that stood out was I wanted to look for teams that don't have drastic home road splits, that have shown that they can shoot on the road, and two teams stood out. Bellarmine, 36% from deep, and Eastern Kentucky, 35% from deep on the road. And so I am going to go ahead and two small sprinkles here. And keep in mind that, I just pulled these odds off one book. Make sure you go out, shop, get the best line. But I'm going to go ahead and take Bellarmine and Eastern Kentucky here for just a quarter unit each to sprinkle. Eastern Kentucky 40-1. When taking a long shot here, I like these high variance teams like Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky, they shoot a bunch of threes. They're 12th in the nation in frequency. And, like I said, they shoot pretty decent away from home. They also draw Stetson in round one, who they've already beat. And then they would get to play Austin Peay, the 2 seed. And even though they lost both those regular season games, they were very competitive in both. They lost by just 2 and 8 points. And, like I said, they're not going to have to play at Austin Peay. So being at a neutral venue will help them in that one. And for the second team, Bellarmine at 55-1 for just a quarter unit as well. One of the best shooting teams in the conference. They're second in offensive efficiency. And they will need some help from good variance to make up for a very poor defense here. But like I said, with it being on a neutral venue, the odds of their defense getting a bump because opponents not shooting as well as normal is going to help them here. And Bellarmine, they draw Jacksonville in the first round, who they already beat on the road. And then they would get a chance to play Central Arkansas, the 1 seed, who they've already beaten as well this year. So just a half unit here, all in all, on the 7 and 8 seed. And they are on opposite sides of the bracket. So, theoretically, they could play each other. I'm not expecting both of them to make the championship. But I do like having them on the opposite side. If just one of them can get a little magical run here, make it to the final, and then we can monetize a ticket, that would be nice. So those are my two picks for the ASUN tournaments, going with long shots on this one. I think this could be a lot of fun, get a lot of carnage in this one. So really looking forward to watching this tournament this week. And that will do it for today's ASUN Tourney preview and analysis. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and check out my other conference tourney previews up on my channel. Best of luck, everyone, and thanks for watching.